Hi, I'm Scott Lang. Today is September 18th, 2017. I want to weigh in on a few issues that I think are important. First one I want to talk about is the proposal to change the mayor's term from a 2-year term to a 4-year term. Now, this proposal is going to be on the ballot this November. The voters will vote on it, and I think that's perfectly appropriate. In fact, I think that's the only way you can make a change like this and have it resonate with the people. But it has to be something that the people think about. They have to make a decision. They have to make a decision with all the information. Now, I don't personally favor moving the mayor's term from 2 years to 4 years. I think a 2-year term is appropriate, and I'm going to tell you why. But I respect your point of view. I respect the fact that you will have the right to vote on this and make a decision for our city. But I think it's important that you understand all the information about this particular proposal. It sounds like a benign proposal, but it really is a very important one. First, what you have to understand is you're being asked to give up your right to vote every 2 years. You won't have a 2-year ability to vote on whether or not your mayor is doing a good job, whether your mayor is the person, the man or woman that you want representing this city. That'll be extended to every 4 years. So you'll give up your right to vote every 2 years. Now, here's why I think that's a bad idea. First of all, I believe that people should participate in democracy. I believe that people should be involved as citizens on a day-to-day basis of how our city or how our state or federal government reacts to the issues that affect all of us here in the localities, whether it happens to be New Bedford or on a statewide level, whether it's Massachusetts or federally as a country. I think the people have to be involved. If you go from a 2-year term to a 4-year term, obviously you're not as involved. Secondly, I think the lifeblood of being mayor is interacting with people, is feeling that you're accountable to the people, that the people are your boss, that you work for the people. I think a 2-year election makes that a very, very compelling reality. In other words, you have to be out there. It's very easy to say, well, I can't go to this event, I'm not going to that event, you're not going to see me here, you won't see me there, I don't have time to set up an appointment for you. It's not very easy to do it if you know that every 2 years the people will be grading you. The people will make a decision as to whether or not you've represented their interest. So I think it keeps an elected official on their toes. As you know, the city councilors are all elected every 2 years right now. The mayor's elected every 2 years right now. Your senators and state reps are elected every 2 years right now. In addition, your congressman or congresswoman is elected every 2 years right now. The only people who have multiple terms would be your governor, would be your senators, would be the president of the United States, would, believe it or not, your assessors in the city. But by and large, everyone's on a 2-year term. So the idea that somehow you'll, by going to a 4-year term for mayor, you will take away from voter fatigue, which I think is a misnomer. I don't think there is voter fatigue. I think we have a situation where the system hasn't put people who are creative, that excite the voters before them. Once we do that, I believe the voters will be very, very engaged and very involved. So we need to make sure we have great candidates. We need to make sure that we don't have frivolous elections, important elections. Having them every 2 years for mayor, I think keeps the mayor in touch with the people and keeps the people basically in a situation where they hold whoever it is in that office accountable. So that's the way I feel about it. Now, there are a number of different reasons that have been given as to why the term is much better if it's a 4-year term than a 2-year term. And I'm sure it is for the mayor, whoever he or she may be, and I'm sure it is for the mayor's friends or the mayor's insiders. But for everybody else, it seems to me that it isolates the mayor and it isolates the people. Why would you want a situation where someone who is campaigning tells you, I don't want to have to face the people every 2 years because I may have to make some tough decisions that they may not like? Well, it's important to connect with the people and get that mandate so you can keep making tough decisions. The idea that you would hide behind the fact that you're not up for election to make a so-called tough decision means you probably shouldn't be mayor. The other thing that's very interesting about it that I find is that, well, the vision then can be carried out. Well, if you're doing a good job, you don't have to worry about campaigning. You can carry out your vision. The way I ran was simply this: if you think I'm doing a good job, then please consider voting for me. If you don't think I'm doing a good job, no hard feelings, vote for the other person. I'll go back to being a civilian. That's the way every elected official should be. They should remember that they once were a civilian, hopefully, and that they are accountable to the people, they're accountable to the citizens, and if they're not doing a good job, then they are not entitled to the office. They weren't born into the office. You got to earn it, and you have to earn it every single day. So this idea that, well, the business community will feel more comfortable with a mayor that serves 2 terms, quite honestly, whatever the mayor does, the business community is going to react to it, whether it's 2 years or 4 years. And if they don't feel that the mayor's doing a good job, they'll be the first ones to rue. They'll be the first ones to wail and gnash their teeth that it's a 4-year term rather than a 2-year term. So the fact is that it's simple. If it's inconvenient to run every 2 years, don't run for mayor. If you don't think you can make tough decisions because you need a 4-year term, don't run for mayor. If you think the voters have fatigue and they're not going to vote, then get out there and energize them. But the idea that the way to resolve a so-called problem, which I don't see it is a problem, and by the way, as I said, I was mayor. I was out every day, whether it was doing my job or campaigning, it's all the same thing. You do your job, people respect you, they'll vote for you. You don't do your job, they should get you out of office as soon as possible. And in New Bedford, that's every 2 years. Now, how has it worked practically? Well, it's worked practically in the following way. Most mayors have gotten, they get elected and then they get the second term. And usually the second term is either a frivolous candidate or someone is conceivably unopposed. It means nothing. It means the fact that you have been doing a good job, that people want to see how you're doing, they want to let you keep going. Once you get to that second term and you start the third term, that would be then into your 6th year, well then certainly, hopefully there's challenges, hopefully people are debating, hopefully there's a consideration as to the direction of the city, hopefully the people are beginning to think, gee, is there a way to basically have a check and balance on an administration? Can we make sure that taxes stay within some sort of realm of reasonableness? Can we make sure that crime is being paid attention to? Can we make sure there's economic development going on so we can grow? Can we make sure there's neighborhood revitalization? Having a campaign is important. It regenerates a mayor. It regenerates an administration. So the idea that somehow we want to stun this process and put a 4-year term in place of a 2, so 1 full term now will equal 2 elections, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'd ask that you consider all the arguments for it. If the side in favor of this makes good arguments, please consider them. I haven't heard any yet. I'm waiting. I haven't heard any yet. I think that this is something that's completely against the people's interests of this city. And if there's one thing I believe in, it's the people of this city. So what I'd ask you to do is look at it, carefully consider it. Please know that I'm voting no. Make up your own mind. But please, if you have any questions, give me a call or grab me on the street and talk to me about it. The idea that we go from a 2-year term to a 4-year term, and this is what we're talking about, is not appropriate. We have an awful lot of issues in this city that we need to discuss, other than can we give the mayor a free ride to a 4-year term. If it's inconvenient to run, as I said, then don't run for mayor. The only person that this benefits is the mayor and the cronies. It doesn't benefit the people. So please give that consideration. Thank you.